Okay, hi everyone. First of all, I have to say it's so nice to see some familiar faces. I just want to give a bit of background as to how this came about. First of all, I was able to go to Inbound, the HubSpot conference in Boston this year, and it was just such an amazing experience to connect with like-minded people in the community that were really going through the same struggles and working on the same projects and had the same day-to-day that I did. So when I got back from Inbound, we approached the Riskified team to see if we could host something like this to really bring the community in Israel together so we can get to know each other and really leverage this community. So first of all, I'll tell you a bit about myself. So I'm the Senior Manager of Marketing Technology and Operations. I've been working for Riskified for just over 2 years now. I'm originally from Australia, if you couldn't tell by my accent. And I'm actually a furniture maker, a carpenter by trade. So that's what I originally studied. Now I just want to give like an overview of what I'll be talking about over the next 20 minutes. So basically, I'll walk you through what we have defined as our strong 3 pillars of the marketing operations team. First of all, there's documentation. So we're very passionate about documentation. I'll explain why. Production operations, and also the allocation of tools and responsibilities. So about Riskified. So first of all, welcome to our office. We've been in this office for about a year now. So I think there's 6 different floors, and marketing actually sits on the floor above here. Riskified was founded here in Tel Aviv in 2013. We have around 750 employees around the globe. Riskified has created a platform to prevent fraud in the e-commerce space. So the modeling system we have can detect if a transaction was legitimate or not. So we review over $100 billion worth of volume transactions, and we actually have a retention rate of 98% with our customers. On the screen, you can see some of the customers that we work with, like Macy's, Prada, Wish, so large enterprise businesses. So here we have, it shows you all of the different locations. We have offices around the world. So the ones in blue, we've actually added just this year. So our main office is in the US and also here in Israel. And we've added offices in Mexico, Brazil, the UK, Singapore, Japan, and also Melbourne, Australia, where I'm actually from. Now I want to talk about my team, and unfortunately Michal couldn't be here today. But before I talk about the 3 pillars, I really wanted to talk about all of our different roles, and this is really a team effort, what we've been able to achieve. So Michal is the Director of Marketing Operations and Strategy, and she's been with the company for over 4 years, and she's actually been my manager for the last 2 years. We then have myself, that's the Senior Manager, Marketing Technologies and Operations. And we also have Isaac. We're not related, but everyone thinks Rebecca Smith, Isaac Smith, that we're both related. But he's the Marketing Automation Manager, and he's actually based in the US. So we had this role open for quite a while, and we were really specific about what we wanted for our team. And one of the things that we really looked at was like coverage for the entire team. So that's why we decided to have someone based more in the US. Okay, so let's start with the numbers and the facts over the last 12 months. So first of all, we have around 40 team members globally. We sit in 7 different time zones. 35% have been with Riskified for less than 12 months. And we've been able to increase our production as a marketing operations team by 50%. And doing all of that, we've also implemented and brought on 4 new technologies. Okay, so I want to talk about the 3 pillars for a strong and effective marketing operations team. I know sometimes these things may seem a bit boring, talking about documentation and production operations, but we really highlighted this as like the foundation of our team, and how were we able to be such a small team and service such a large team and get through the quantity of work that we wanted to get through. So these are the 3 like really strong pillars that we do everything by, like every single day. Like we really bring it back to these pillars. So the first one is documentation. It's really important the way that we transfer knowledge within the organization. Like, as you all know, there's so much change constantly. We have people leaving, coming, going on maternity leave, and it's just really important that we document everything. We have production operations. So we implemented 3 processes that I'll run through with you in order to make this as efficient as possible. And this really came out of the COVID time and all of us working from home and in all different locations. And then the allocation of tools and responsibilities. So it's when the unexpected happens that the strength of your processes is really put to the test. So how can you prepare? It's with documentation. So I want to walk you through like how we create all of our documents. First of all, the overview and the reason for the document. So we really ask ourselves these questions when we're building that out. So what's the logic behind the different decisions? Why were the changes put in place? Why did we invest in this new process? It's really amazing, you know, how many documents I've read, or when I came into this position, like documentation that just wouldn't even explain why this investment was made in this technology. And then the technical specifications. So what systems, what properties, what objects or workflows does it affect? Like what other technologies does it intersect with? And then also the QA documentation. So what we found that was really helpful for us is to have like what were the expected outcomes versus like what actually happened when we implemented the technology. So our next pillar that I really want to talk about is the production operations. So I'm personally accountable for all of the production that happens within the marketing team. And during this year, we had a 50% increase in the quantity of tickets the team was able to deliver. So we did this by implementing 3 processes, and I'll go through that. So first of all, Monday.com. So it's a centralized platform for us where we can categorize the work by team, task, sprint, week, and stage. So it was really important, like when we implemented Monday, to look at like what are the data points or what are the questions that we may be asked that we can really leverage. So an example of this is this year when we're doing our budgeting, and they say that they want to increase a certain team by 50 or 60%, we were able to go back to the team and say, okay, we understand that we do X amount of tickets for this team and it takes this amount of time. So this is what we need in order to support this team. So we really leverage Monday from that perspective. Weekly sprints. So that allows us to deliver results in a timely manner while making sure we have enough resources and capacity. So the third one is the rules of engagement. So we set really clear guidelines of what every task entails and who is accountable for each stage and when we need what information in order to complete the task. So we don't move from this. We set the rules of engagement and we rolled this out to the team, and every single team member, like, we take on the training and the understanding from the teams so that we're actually able to function in this way. So what you can see here is actually looking at this year, so from January until now, October, so the increase that we've had per month. So you can see that we, like, in a very slow, but I think in a great way, we were able to increase month by month the quantity of tickets. Like, obviously because of the holiday period, we had a drop in September and October, but we really set that intention with the team like many months in advance to know that that was going to happen. So the last pillar that I want to talk about is the allocation of tools and responsibility within the team. This really came about because we had a technology that we used went down. There wasn't one point of contact within the team, and it really took a number of days and even weeks to solve this problem. So we really sat down after we had that issue to determine who within the team needs to take on what type of technology. So I'll just run through with you some of the technologies that we currently use. So we're using Lead Genius for lead enrichment. We have 6 Sense to help us with a predictive model, Never Bounce to check all of the emails to verify them, Mutiny on our website for an experience, HubSpot obviously as our marketing automation tool, Drift and Path Factory. So in order for our MOPS team to have success with our tech stack, we allocated each technology to a MOPS team member. Like, what was the logic behind this? So first of all, for the team member to have alignment with their job function and tool. So we really had a look at like who is responsible for what within the MOPS organization and how can this tool help support them. So the second one is, as I mentioned, to have a point of contact for internal teams as well as external teams that we're working with, and to also have a super user that knows the technology inside out and can work as a consultant to the larger organization. So the key takeaways, number one, documentation is really the key to success. Like, we attribute everything towards our documentation. Number two, in order to scale, it's really important to set the rules of engagement with your team and also stick to them. Like, really, as hard as it is, if someone asks if they can sneak in an extra event to your sprint for you to produce or for you to build a workflow, it's really important to stick to it. And three, allocate your stack tech to a MOPS team member so internal and external individuals have a point of contact. Thank you, everyone.